Hello students, this video we are going to discuss what is electromagnetic spectrum and its uses, how it is produced, what is its frequency, wavelength ranges and its uses. Yes, that and all we are going to discuss in this session, which is the continuation of the chapter 8 electromagnetic waves for 12th standard Cbse. Okay, now please see that what is a spectrum. The word spectrum represents means what is spectrum means. Just see that spectrum means is the arrangement of any radiation. Arrangement of radiation is based on is either its frequency or wavelength. Either its frequency or what, children? Wavelength. This arrangement of radiation based on either frequency or wavelength is generally called what, children? Spectrum. Yes. In electromagnetic spectrum, yes, what are the things are there means gamma rays. The slide can give the information about that. Just see that. Yes, this one is what, children? Yes, gamma rays. Yes, the one is gamma rays. The next is X-rays and UV rays, visible light, infrared region, microwaves, radio waves, and within the radio waves there is a short wave a shorter frequency, and this is very low frequency, and this will be extremely very low frequencies. Yes, so these are the last three are belongs to radio waves only. Okay, now please see that the first one what we are going to write is gamma rays. Is gamma rays. And the next one is what we can write, that one has to be X-ray, X-rays, and next one is what, children? UV rays, ultraviolet, UV rays, okay, UV rays, and next is what, children? Visible region, visible light or visible light, and next is what, children? You just see that in visible light we know that violet, indigo is that order we know, or we can simply say that VGR. What, children? VGR. Yes, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Yes, and the next one is infrared, IR, infrared radiations or IR rays, infrared rays. And the next is what, children? Microwave. The next is what, children? Microwaves or microwaves. The last one is what, children? Radio waves. The last one is what, children? Radio waves. Okay, yes. Now please see that as we are going from gamma rays to radio waves, that means if you are going in this direction, the frequency is decreases. Frequency will decreases. That means the descending order. We know that what is ascending order, descending order. That type of questions are very important. Descending means what, children? Higher value frequency to lower value frequency. Or the same can be said to be like this. That means in terms of wavelength, if you are writing in terms of wavelength, then here in terms of wavelength, yes, you just see that as we move from gamma rays to radio waves, frequency value decreases. Frequency value what, children? Decreases when we are moving from gamma rays to radio waves. In the same arrangement order, if you are going from gamma rays to radio waves, wavelength of the radiation gets increases. Wavelength what, children? Increases. Why such type of things are there means we know that in the property of EM wave we give that the energy of the emitted photon can be given as to be E equal to h nu, or that is equal to what, children? Hc by lambda. That means energy is proportional to frequency. Energy is proportional to what, children? Frequency, or we can say that energy of the radiation is inversely proportional to wavelength. So this, if you are keeping this one in mind, you no need to be worried about this. So we know that gamma rays are having very high frequency. Very high frequency means more energy. So therefore, when you are moving from from gamma rays to radio waves, energy also in decreasing order. Energy also what, children? Decreasing. That energy also decreases. Energy also what, children? Decreases when you are moving from what, children? From gamma rays to radio waves. In this way, if you are going like this, then what will happen, children? Frequency difference decreases. When frequency decreases, obviously energy of the radiation also will decreases because of this relation. So these are the very brief introduction about the electromagnetic spectrum. And you please see that they may ask, usually they may ask ascending order or descending order. So they will give 3 or 4 electromagnetic waves like infrared, microwave, X-rays, something like that. And from that they will ask you to write that one in ascending order of frequency or descending order of wavelength, something like that they will ask you. That is one type of question. In MCQ discussion, that the numerical part I can elaborately give the model sum for the understanding of for the problem solving part. Okay. But here I am just telling what type of question can be asked from this area. Okay. That is one type of a question. They will ask you to write in ascending order or descending order of either frequency or wavelength. That is one type of question related to this area. And second one is what, children? They may give any radiation. For example, write the, they will give infrared. They may ask you to write its frequency range, or write its wavelength range, or write its any one of the uses, or how it will be produced. Such type of questions they may ask you in what is that, even for MCQ or exam, Cbse exam point of view also. But no other way is you have to memorize some basic data, because the frequency values, either you can memorize either frequency or wavelength. Any one of the data, the range, at least the range you must memorize. If you know the frequency, then obviously we can get it from this wavelength. If I know the frequency of the radiation, I can easily convert. That has to be what, children? C is equal to nu lambda. If I memorized, as a student, if I memorized the wavelength of the wavelength range or frequency ranges, from that you can calculate what is its wavelength range. For example, I know what is its frequency, then I can write that lambda is equal to C by nu. If I memorized only the frequency values or ranges, for example, you just see the slide, for a gamma rays, the frequency ranges are what, children? Approximately 10 to the power of 24 to 26, that ranges. If I know that range, approximate range, what is its corresponding wavelength? Sometimes they may ask you to find out. They will give some wavelength value. From that wavelength value, you have to be identify what type of radiation. Then after identify that, they may ask you to write what is its uses. Such type of questions also possible. For that case, is no other way. You please memorize the what, children? These frequency ranges. But I strongly advise you to follow the NCERT table which was given in NCERT book, because for the examination purpose. Okay, since our Cbse examinations mostly depends on that data only, so kindly refer the NCERT one strictly for that values. Okay. Now you please see that, children, if any one of the parameter, either wavelength or frequency, gets memorized, the remaining things can be easily found out from this relation, or we can write nu is equal to C by lambda. Any one of the things we can easily find out from this. Okay, children. So just again, you just see that picture or slide, which will give you the information about the 7 type of radiations. What, children? One is gamma rays, very high frequency, very high energy, and next to that the frequency decreases or wavelength slightly increases, that is X-rays. Next to that, ultraviolet. Just see that visible region is what, children? VIBGR. So before the violet, that means when compared to violet, there will be a more frequency or lesser wavelength. So what is that? Violet. That's why it is called ultraviolet. Okay, less than this what is that? Are more than this frequency or less than this wavelength. Okay. Now you please see that red, VIBGR, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Okay. So red. Next to that, more wavelength or lesser frequency, that is called infra. What is ultra, infra? You are already studied in waves concept in 11th standard. Okay. So next to this infrared, next to microwaves and radio waves. The diagram shows that in this slide, just see that, children, in this slide you just see that they are given the approximate the area where this type of radiations can be used or generates. For example, gamma rays is which is having very high frequency. So they are mostly related to as a nuclei as a parameter, nuclei related concept. The next is what, children? X-rays. You know that X-rays is mostly they are used for industrial and as medical purpose. Next one is ultraviolet. That uses and all we will discuss as in the next slide, but I am just roughly giving the information. Ultraviolet radiations are used for medical and forensic purpose, and this you know that because of this infrared only we are getting as a thermal as a energy or heat radiations. And next is what, children? As a visible light is there. Visible light which is used as which is very useful to observe the as our world. Okay, so next is infrared, and which is related to heat as we discussed in the radiation topic in 11th standard. And these are the microwaves which are generally used for cellular and as a satellite communications. And next is what, children? Radio waves. All these three are belongs to radio waves only, especially for TV or television. What is that? The communication system, children. Yes, a mobile phone and the television or radio broadcast. For that purpose we are using. And you just see this down. There is called as ionizing radiations and non-ionizing radiations. That means up to ultraviolet as a region, since their energies, that means frequency is more, their energy also more. So whenever these radiations are allowed to passing through any material medium, this makes the as ionization. What is ionization? That and all we already you know that. Ionization means a neutral atom can be splitted as to be or separated as a positive and negative charge. That is called a ionization process. So these radiations in the electromagnetic spectrum from gamma rays to ultraviolet, since they are having comparatively more energy or more frequency when compared to these radiations, that's why they can whenever that radiations are passing through material medium, what will happen, children? Or air or something else, so it can ionize that. But these radiations are having very less energy when compared to these regions. That's why they are called what, children? Lesser energy means less ionization, or there is no ionization process. That's why it is mentioned as to be non-ionization. Yes. So next slide, you just see that. Yes, the next slide. Yeah, so the same diagram. Yes, the same diagram as we discussed earlier. The same information only is given. As we said earlier that yes, this is wavelength diagram. We know that wavelength means what? That there's the distance between one crest and one trough as we discussed in 11th standard. Okay, like this. So as we said, when we are going from gamma rays to radio waves, the wavelength will be increases or frequency gets decreases. That's why it is having wider range. You just see that, children. That means it has more wavelength. The radio waves or microwaves are having more radiations, more wavelength. That's why the gaps will be very more high. But you see that in the case of gamma rays, or X-rays, where wavelengths are very less or frequencies are more. That's why that the gaps are very lesser. Okay, the next slide. Now please see that, children. This is the a table which gives the information about what is as we discussed, 7 type of electromagnetic radiations are discussed. In this table they are given how that radiations can be produced, how can it be detected, and what are its approximate wavelength value and what purpose it will be used. Okay, and this information, as I said, either you memorize the either wavelength range or as a frequency range, depends on that. Yes, if you know any one of the parameter, you can find the remaining data for the exam point of view. Okay, children. The first one, you just see that this will be radio wave. Radio wave means what, children? Which has the very high wavelength, that is more wavelength. That means what, children? More wavelength. Okay. So this is generally as we shown in the previous slides, that in radio waves categorized as lower wavelengths or lower frequency or lower wavelength, and MW medium waves. Okay, that means moderate frequency ranges, very high frequency. Such type of categorization is there. So the source for that is given by electronic circuits. The source of radio waves or electronic circuits are vibrating yes, electrons, and they are yes, detected by aerials, antennas, or any electronic circuit. The wavelengths are given in as kilometer, 10 to the power of 3 meters, in that ranges. The main purpose for that is what, children? Communication purpose, that is radio and television broadcast. Okay, children. The next one is what? Just to see that, you just see that. Next one is when compared to this, it is slightly lesser wavelength or more frequency. That is what, children? Yes, microwaves. So microwaves are generated by electronic circuits. Yes, and you just see that, children. Yes, they are detected by aerial and electronic circuits. Their wavelength range, as I suggested you, this is just for information. Please better you follow the NCERT data which is given in NCERT book. Okay, so the wavelength range is 10 to the power of -2 is a meter. The main purpose of this one is communication, satellite communication, and yes, navigation purpose they will be used. And next is what, children? Infrared. When compared to this has a little bit more as a frequency and a lesser wavelength when compared to this one. So these infrareds are generally any hot body. Yes, the source of that is what, children? Any body whose temperature is more, it can produce the infrared radiations, and they are detected by some electronic devices, lasers, such type of devices. Okay, their wavelength ranges are given. The main purpose of this infrared radiation is what, children? For medical purpose. They may used for therapy. Yes, by heating the muscles, they will give some therapy in medical field. And we know that for infrared cameras, in order to see the objects in night time where visible lights are very less. So infrared cameras, such type of purpose they will used, and infrared spectrums are used to study the molecular structure of the chemicals or chemical compounds. For that purpose, infrared rays are given, are used. And visible light, obviously we know that most of the world around us, the data can be observed by seeing their colors or the visible lights reflected from that. Okay, so that, and UV rays are they are used for main purpose. UV rays sources are given there as a gas discharge, lamps, UV lamps, that and all there. Okay, the main purpose of UV rays is in medical field. They are used for sterilizing the medical instruments, to clean from the any germs or bacteria, to kill the bacteria like that. So sterilizing the medical instruments. And in forensic department, to find out the documents originality, forged document, or whether it is true or not, such type of informations. And you know that in a water bottle sometimes they may mention that UV treated waters. So that means the using UV rays, you can kill the germs or the bacteria, such type of living organisms in water. Okay, for sterilizing purpose it will be used. And this also used to find out the structure of the molecules or chemical compounds. And next is X-rays. Obviously we know that X-rays are produced by what, children? A fast moving electron is stopped by metal targets of high atomic weight. So that will generate the X-rays, and these X-rays are used in industrial purpose as well as medical purpose also. We know that X-ray film, X-ray film is there. That is very important medical application to find out the structure of the bone, or to find out any cracks in the bone, like that. Okay. And the another industrial purpose of this one is what, children? To find out any cracks in the metallic beams or the body of the aeroplane, such type of things. And another thing is these X-rays are used to find out in scientific point of view, it is used to find out the crystal structures. We know that Brock's law for X-ray diffractions, that and all we will discuss later videos. And next is gamma rays. We know that the frequency is very, very high, which is nearly 10 to the power of 24 to 26 hertz, or the wavelengths are very, very less. So nearly 10 to the power of yes, minus 15, such type of ranges are there, wavelengths minus 15 meters, which are comparable to the dimension of the yes, atoms or nuclei. So these gamma rays are mainly used to find out yes, the nuclear interaction or the structure of the yes, yes, nuclei, or we can use that radiations for even for yes, cancer treatments also. Okay children, so I am giving the rough information about what is electromagnetic spectrum and how it will be ordered in based on their frequency values or wavelength value, and how their energy will be vary with respect to frequency and wavelength, directly proportional, inversely proportional. From the exam point of view, we just memorize either frequency or wavelength. If you know the frequency, we can find out its wavelength range, or if you know the wavelength range, then you can find out from there yes, frequencies, and for the examination point of view. Okay children, so this table is just for your reference. You please kindly refer the yes, what children, NCRT is book for this particular data allowed. Okay children, yes, I hope that you people are watching our videos, you can get the yes, more clarity in a strictly exam point of view. So kindly yes, subscribe our channels and yes, use it in this what is that children, exam point of view. Yes, thank you.